Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the South Carolina Gamecocks Dynasty here on EA Sports College Football 25, where today the 16th ranked and 5-2 South Carolina Gamecocks are fresh off 2 road losses and return home for the first time in what seems like forever in an evening matchup, looking to end this 2-game losing streak. The only problem is they got to do it against the best team in the country. 6-0 and number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs come to town. So it's not going to get any easier. This SEC gauntlet is a legit thing. But it's a big game here for the Gamecocks. They need a win, and you got to win games like this. We did beat a number 1 team last year. Can we do it again? If you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content, as it will be the Gamecocks starting off with the football on offense. The last time these two teams met, Georgia was victorious in Athens, 19-13, in a pretty close matchup. I'm expecting a close matchup here today as well, although it's going to be tough. They'll start off on the ground where it gets 2 yards. Keenan Todia with the carry. He'll get the second play of the game as well, as he gets about 6. And it's an early third down for the Gamecocks. Todia 70 yards last week, but here's Goodman. He checks in on the third down, and he won't get it. So the Gamecocks will go a 3-and-out. Taj Abreu, the impact senior, with the stop. And here comes the Bulldog offense led by quarterback Henry Eckerman and Timmy Cockerham at wide receiver. They've been a dynamic duo the past couple of seasons. That's led them to the number 1 spot. They'll start off their own 45 after a not-so-good punt, as this one's thrown for a first down. And there is Cockerham on cue. Eckerman last week had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win. As here he is on the play fake, and this one's intercepted! Picked off by Caleb Cottrell, and he has green grass in front of him. Eckerman's going to throw it off his helmet. That's a 48-yard pick 6. The Gamecocks with the lead. One conventional interception, but an interception nonetheless. The big man gets a heads-up play, literally, as it hit off his helmet. And now Georgia trails 7-0, and they got to try to do it again. Back out to the 41, as this time Eckerman's going to keep it, but guess who makes the play? Caleb Cottrell in the backfield, a very hot start for him with the tackle for a loss. Georgia will get it within 1 yard, though, after a 13-yard play, and then we'll get the first down. So a chance to really stamp our footing on the early portion of this game, but we give up the first down. So Georgia does enter Gamecock territory. Out to the 45 on first down. Eckerman takes a shot, but he completes it short. That's a gain of 8. Eckerman 5 for 6 on the start. Only incompletion was that interception. So he hasn't had the ball hit the ground yet. 2nd and 2. This is a nice throw to Taylor Runyon out of the backfield as he gets out to the 29. And here comes the Georgia offense. Runyon now on the ground splits the defenders, and he gets a first down pickup. Runyon, a former Syracuse Orange at running back where he started his career, now in Georgia. Spelling him as the UCF transfer Connor Gold, who picks up 3 as Runyon checks back in. Back to the air, though, goes Eckerman as he looks short, and this is another good catch by the tight end Rashad Veal, who takes a shot across the middle, but he's got a goal to go. They hand it off to Runyon, who won't get there. Maurice Bone, the senior linebacker, puts him down for a TFL. Now from the 6, they hand it off to Runyon left side, and Bone's there again. Back-to-back tackles. Now it's 3rd and goal from the 1. Do you trust Runyon again? He's averaging 5 yards a carry today. They do, and he will pick up the first down, or the touchdown, I should say. Tied up at 7 apiece off the 3rd of the season for Runyon, and that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. It's been a pretty grinded-out game. 7-all is your score. South Carolina had a couple of punts. We saw both teams punt to end the first quarter. Didn't show it, but you can see the defense was reigning supreme, including South Carolina averaging 0.2 yards per play. Here on this play, they'll get a lot more than 0.2 as they get 2, so that helps out, making it 2nd and 8. South Carolina has a couple of punts today. Brock to the air, looks across the middle, and he's going to find Danny Cribbs in the 2nd level. That's a nice throw to his left. 14 yards to the tight end. Out to the 42 now. A handoff for Goodman up the middle, who cuts it right side, and that's going to be a first down run. Gain of about 12, and he's got us into Georgia territory. Next play, Goodman again right side, getting some more carries here as he picks up 7, trying to outrun the defense to the edge. He stays in here on 2nd and 3, motioned out of the backfield as looking short. This one's caught by Frank McCord. Another first down for the Gamecocks, their best drive of the day. Out to the 33, handoff to Goodman, but he's going to be going backwards. Taj Abreu with another TFL. Now it's 3rd and 5 for South Carolina. Brock in the gun, looks short, has Beck, and he'll have a first down. Beck had a fumble last week and lost to Arkansas, but he's back in the lineup here today. Inside the red zone, here's a flip to Gallegos, who gets a lot of speed all the way down to the 1, but it's not going to count. Holding on Frank McCord. We've talked about his struggles blocking as a receiver on the outside. And it's also going to be on display here. Now a 3rd and 17 for South Carolina. Brock to throw. Wants the short one, but it's incomplete. Hits off the lineman. So that'll set up a 42-yard field goal try for Marquise Otogwe. And he will hit it up and good. We've seen Otogwe struggle recently, but he hits that one. And South Carolina's back out in front. Score now 10-7. Here's Georgia's next drive with it as they continue to dissect the Gamecock defense. Ekenem 8 for 9 now. That incompletion still being the pick 6. Now at the 50, out in the flat is Runyon, who makes a defender miss and picks up 3 in the air. 2nd and 7. Now they give it to him on the ground, who cuts it up the middle with a nice blocking. Good job by the right tackle, Dakota Major, to open that hole up. Allows for a big gain. From the 35, Runyon again up the middle. This time he's going to be brought down after a pickup of 3. Runyon at 12 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. A good start for him. As now they'll fake it, and they'll give it on the end around to Kevin Rusnak, but it's read beautifully for a gain of about 2. Now 3rd and 5. Ekenem back to the air. Has a man open across the middle. This one's caught, and again, Ekenem has not missed since the interception. That's Shakir Marshall with 25. Goal to go from the 5. Runyon left side. He's going to get it down to the 1. Georgia threatening again, but they're actually going to back up here. They're going to call a false start on right guard Jose Rosales. So that'll back up Georgia. Now they got to do it from the 5.5. So Ekenem will go to the air, looks right side as a man, and they'll get the yardage back. It's 3rd and goal from the 1 again. Georgia punched it in last time, 3rd and goal from the 1. This time they will pitch it, and they will do it again. A touchdown for the Bulldogs. And Georgia's back out in front, 14-10. Taken down to the 2-minute warning, South Carolina with it. Georgia does get the ball at the half, so you want to get points here. As there's a nice strike across the middle to Vernon Ryder with a nice 14-yard catch in traffic. Out to the 43 now. Brock to the air, steps up, looks short, just has Todia, and he's going to outrun the defense and get out of bounds after a pickup of 9. Clock will momentarily stop. 2nd and 1. Here comes a blitz. It's countered with a nice throw to Cribbs, who gets the first down. Now getting deep into Georgia territory. South Carolina's going to let some clock run off. They're inside a minute now as Brock will tuck this one and run and pick up 3. Again, South Carolina draining some clock inside 30 seconds. They don't want to give Georgia any time. But on 2nd and 7, Brock is intercepted. This one picked off across the middle with some speed. But he's tracked down to the 50, and that is just what Georgia needed and just what the Gamecocks did not want to happen. Thank goodness they bleed some clock, though, so at least the Bulldogs only have 20 seconds off the 3rd interception of the season for Brock. This one's short, not a first down, so Georgia will burn timeout number 1. 15 seconds now. Ekenem looks short again. This one caught by Runyon, and they'll burn timeout number 2. 10 seconds to go now. Ekenem with it again as he drops back, almost takes a sack as this one's incomplete. So now Georgia will wait for the 47-yarder from right hash for League Ogbania, and he will hit it. And Georgia will take a 17-10 lead into the halftime intermission, where this one's been close, but the Bulldogs have looked like the better team. And they get the football in the second half, so South Carolina will see if they can keep pace with Georgia going into the final 2 quarters. So see if the Gamecocks can stifle Georgia to begin the 3rd quarter, as Ekenem will start and motion out the tight end. And he'll go play fake on the first play, wants his eyes downfield. Doesn't like what he sees, so he tucks in and runs, and he gets a nice pickup there. Gain of 14. We haven't seen Ekenem run it a ton today. That was easily his best run. Out to the 39 now. 1 second on the play clock before they snap it. They set up a screen for Runyon, and he will get maybe 6 or 7. 6-7. But there is a flag down. Jose Rosales, the former 5-star from Miami, Florida, again with the hold. Having a hard time keeping his hands inside. So now at first an odd 17 for Georgia. But they pick it up on one play with a throw across the middle to Rashad Veal, who will actually get it all. 68 yards to the house. Veal, the tight end, with it. A lot of people say he's the best tight end in Georgia since Brock Bowers. And, I mean, the way the true sophomores look today, it's hard to argue that. So now Georgia leads by 14. We'll see what South Carolina can do to begin this quarter. They have a good starting field position. Unfortunately, Keenan Todio suffers a minor injury on the first play. 2nd and 10. Here's Goodman with it. He'll get the first down. He's actually looked better, I think, than Todio today anyway. And Todio would be okay overall. Out to the 45 now. Brock changes some things up. Sees a blitz package, so he throws it behind the blitzers to Gallegos. A veteran move there for the redshirt sophomore. Second grab of the day for Juan Gallegos. Out to the 30 now. Here's a handoff to Goodman, who cuts it right side, picks up 7. And this is the kind of drive you want to see if South Carolina have after giving up the long touchdown. 2nd and 3. Brock's going to keep it, but he doesn't get the block as he loses 4, and that could be a drive killer. It's now 3rd and 6. Brock tries to tuck it again and run with it, but he only picks up 4. But 4th and 2 down by 14. The Gamecocks are going to go for it. They keep the offense on the field. They trust Goodman, who picks up the first down. Goodman's averaged 6 yards per carry today. A lot of trust in him, though, on that 4th down, and he gets it. 1st and 10 now from the 18. Brock, he gets hit as he throws. Waited to the last second. That one's incomplete. 2nd and 10 now. Throw to McCord out wide, and he gets 9. Haven't attacked these corners a lot on the outside. Georgia has an elite pair out there in Quintero and Byrne. So we haven't really tested them. 3rd and 1. Goodman picks up the first. Now it's goal to go from the 6. Brock to throw for on first down. Finds Gallegos, who scores it. Touchdown, South Carolina. And that's the answer you want coming out of that Georgia drive. Gamecocks within 7 again. It's now 24-17. Second drive here for Georgia, though, is off to a pretty solid start. But it faces an early 3rd down. 3rd and 3 now. Tight formation here for the Dogs. The Gamecocks could use a stop here. But it will be a first down for Connor Gold, who keeps the drive alive. Georgia's been very good on 3rd downs today, almost converting on every single one. So here's a 5-yard carry to Gold again. 2nd and 5, this time motioning out the tight end Veal, and they try to set up a screen, and it's not going anywhere. Good defense to read that. That's Angel Casey out there. Now it's 3rd and 13 for the Bulldogs. Secondary backs off, but Eckerman takes advantage and hits a strike up the seam. You got to get off the field on those plays, man. 3rd and 13, you let them convert. 1st and 10, next play. Eckerman hit as he throws. That was Cottrell again applying the pressure. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 now, motioning out the halfback. Eckerman pump fakes, looks short. Cottrell's there, but he gets behind him. And Veal's able to pick up 4 instead. 3rd and 6 now. Another 3rd down try for the Bulldogs. But this one's intercepted. Miles Filipovic, the team leader at INTs, comes down with another one. He seems to come down with it wherever they're deep in our territory. And we'll take it. So the Gamecocks have it to begin the 4th quarter, down by 7. 24-17 your score. Henry Eckenham's looked pretty good for the Dogs, but he has 2 interceptions now. It's 2nd and 9 for the Gamecocks. As Brock goes play fake, but that man is not fooled. Straight into the backfield goes Kevin Boyce, and now it's 3rd and 15 for South Carolina. Brock takes the snap, wants the tight end Cribbs, but this one's incomplete, and South Carolina can't do anything with the interception. After a pretty good return, Georgia has it now at the 30, as this one's overthrown. A rare miss today for Eckenham. 2nd and 10, goes back short to Veal. He's had a very busy day. He picks up 7. That is his 9th grab for 140 yards and a touchdown. Another 3rd and 3 for Georgia here. Play clock winding down. They motion out Veal. And this one's going to be a throw out right side, and it's going to be stopped. So, okay. They don't convert this time. Timmy Cockerman couldn't get there. But now it's a 10-point lead again for Georgia, 2-score. And South Carolina's next drive, they set up a screen on 3rd and 5, and they're not going to get there as they go 3 and out. A huge missed opportunity there for South Carolina, and now the clock is against you, and you're down by 2 scores. Coming up on the 7-minute mark here, Georgia at midfield, they hand it off, and Runyon will get hit immediately by Angel Casey. After the minimal gain, it's now 3rd and 5 for Georgia, bunch to the left. Eckenham will look that way, has a man open, and it's going to be a first down for Timmy Cockerham. 6 catches, 35 yards for the junior, and again, Georgia will move the chains. Now coming up on 5 minutes, letting the clock run down. Eckerman will keep this one and run it. He puts it on the ground, but it's picked up by Georgia. Disaster avoided for the Dogs. However, this play wouldn't count for their offense as there's a holding on guess who? That's Danny Stevens. Sorry, I thought it said 55, number 53, the other impact guard. Now 2nd and 9 for Georgia, and they will complete this one short, so it will be a yard shy for Rusnak. And again, Georgia sets them up nicely for a third down conversion, and they will get it. Georgia's had third and short countless times, and they get it almost every time. The 10th grab of the day for Veal will keep the drive alive. It's now 1st and 10. This one is a touchdown throw to guess who? Rashad Veal, his second of the day. Georgia now leads by 3 scores as we reach the 2-minute warning, 34-17. 3rd and goal from the 1. Brock takes a sack. The one thing you can't do there, as they send the safety Josh Wrighton on the blitz. So now it's 4th and goal from the 7. Brock sees the pressure, rolls to his left, waits, tries to find a man open. There's nobody open. It's incomplete. That's a whimper to end this game. Georgia wins it 34-17, doubling up the Gamecocks, who lose their 3rd straight game of the season. This one has a lot of similarities to last year. We started off undefeated and went on a losing streak before the bye week. And it's happened again this year. Tough loss for the Gamecocks. The offense just couldn't really get anything going. Remember, they were only responsible for 10 points because that was a pick 6 in the first quarter. Brock couldn't find a rhythm. Nobody was getting open. And the run game outside of Goodman wasn't very good. The offense has really been exposed, I feel like, on this losing streak. And Georgia just did it again. The defense overall played just meh. I mean, we got a couple of turnovers, but we gave up a lot of yardage, which is kind of the MO with this defense. Just the offense can't keep up, and we lose another one. Caleb Cottrell, though, does get Player of the Week nationally thanks to his hot start to this game, so at least he gets the award. Just stinks that it had to come with a loss. Let's see what else has happened around the country. A big game this week, the Jacksonville game between Florida and Georgia, 2 ranked teams. Nebraska loses. Their white-hot streak comes to an end as they lose to Rutgers in the Big Ten clash. Cal knocks off Miami, an upset where the Hurricanes go down to the Golden Bears. And then finally, Iowa State does beat Kansas State in one of the bigger games of this past week. Here's your scores from Week 9, starting off with some action as Western Michigan beats Akron on Wednesday. On Thursday, Pitt beats their rival in Syracuse before we get to the Saturday game, starting off with the MAC, where Kent State ekes out Eastern Michigan. Maryland beats Indiana on the road, putting up 45-31. Kennesaw State squeaks by LA Tech in the Conference USA. Arizona looks like a really solid squad with a nice victory here against Cincinnati in the Big 12. And then Auburn loses to Mississippi State. The defending champs go down again. They're in freefall mode. Texas gets a much-needed victory over Ole Miss. And then we see Bowling Green join the rankings as they beat Buffalo. Baylor knocks off Arizona State. They've entered the top 10. Coastal Carolina gives Louisiana Monroe their first loss of the season, 28-21. Wake Forest over Virginia in the ACC. Oklahoma with a victory against Kentucky in a close one. And then UCLA gets a victory over Iowa. Western Kentucky is still looking like the Group of 5 team to beat. They beat Sam Houston this week. And then Texas State with a Mountain West victory over Wyoming. Penn State at number 5 now. They get the trophy over Minnesota. And Appalachian State bounces back with another victory against Old Dominion. We saw Cal beat Miami. San Jose State takes care of Northern Illinois in the Mountain West. And UAB doubles up Temple as they move up to number 13, and they're still undefeated. ECU over Tulane also in the American Conference. And then we see Georgia Tech beat Florida State. The Seminoles winless in the ACC. It looks like they've low-key checked out. More about that later in the season. Also in the ACC, Virginia Tech over Stanford. And in the Big 12, we see Houston squeak by Texas Tech. Tennessee with a big victory over Texas A&M. And then at Fresno State knocks off Boise State to win the Jug. Your game of the week and game day, Michigan State is legit. They beat Ohio State's move to number 4 and are still undefeated. Go Sparty. In the Big 12, UCF over BYU. And then South Alabama dominates Arkansas State in the Sun Belt. Miami, Ohio over Central Michigan in the MAC. And then before Florida's big game against Georgia, they beat Vanderbilt this week. Oregon up to number 3 now, knocking off Purdue. Then Notre Dame's still undefeated. They're 10-0 as they beat Navy this week and are now the number 2 team in all of the land. Nevada with a Mountain West victory over New Mexico. Toledo over Ball State. And then we see Michigan knock off Illinois. Charlotte gets a victory over FAU. And then TCU back in the win column, beating Kansas this week. And we saw Rutgers. They doubled up Nebraska to quiet the Cornhuskers. LSU knocks off Missouri in a nice win for the LSU Tigers. And then Hawaii knocks off UTEP. We see Northwestern beat Wisconsin by a touchdown. The Wildcats now have entered the top 25. Duke right now currently stands as the Top of the ACC, they beat SMU. They're now 3-0. Washington State gets a victory over UNLV. Colorado loses another one, this time to the rivals in Utah. Army over Rice, despite the Owls still being in the rankings. San Diego State beats Colorado State in a pivotal Pac-12 game. And then we see Clemson get the Textile Bowl victory over NC State. Arkansas beats Alabama 30-13. UTSA with a close victory over Memphis. And then, yes, in the Big 12 game, Iowa State beat Kansas State. Here are your players of the week. We know it's Caleb Cottrell from us, as well as Seth Gostowski, the offensive player of the week from Baylor, with 11 catches for 3 touchdowns. Your other SEC player of the week was Sean Gideon of LSU. Here's a look at the first college football 25 rankings, where Georgia tops it at number 1. Notre Dame number 2. Those are, I think, the clear-cut 2. I think Oregon being 3 and Michigan State 4 is a little unfair. I think the Spartans deserve to be the 3. We stay in the rankings, though. We're at number 24, so at least we hold on to a top 25 spot. With the rankings being released, here's our first look at what the projected bracket will look like, and obviously it's going to change a lot. Bowling Green's probably not going to get a first-round bye, even though that'd be crazy, as Duke technically is the top team in the ACC right now. But teams like Miami, I expect to probably take that spot at some point. There are some big games this week in Week 10, as we'll see Oregon and Michigan State, so we'll actually get to see who is the top team between those two. A huge matchup in the Big 10. Georgia and Florida, and Jacksonville's always some fireworks. Washington plays Northwestern, and Arkansas and Oklahoma, as the top 2 conferences in college football continue to put on classics. As far as the Gamecocks, we've reached our bye week, and this is a much-needed bye week as we have lost 3 straight, and hopefully can rest up and get ready and regroup for the final leg of the season. We'll take a look at some of the recruits I'm also targeting as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry we're on this losing streak. It's just been tough playing in the SEC, and these have been some stiff competition. Hopefully the Gamecocks can figure out what they've been doing wrong and get back in the win column. If you've enjoyed, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.